Hi there. Thanks for emailing me about the Chapter 10 work for the solver and creating the answer report. So I'm going to start by setting up the solver variables and constraints, and then I'll move on in the next video to actually creating the answer report. Okay, so I am here in our worksheet. I am using the virtual desktop. So I logged into the virtual desktop. I downloaded the Chapter 10 file. I opened it up in Excel, and that's what I've got here. I'm active on the golf lessons sheet, and I have already loaded the solver. So I'm going to click on the Data tab at the very right-hand side. I'm going to click on the Solver tool. And the solver is a great little tool because what it does is this whole chapter is about playing these what-if games. So, and bosses and managers love this kind of thing. What if sales go up? What if sales go down? All these kinds of things. And that's what the solver is going to do for us as well. It's going to say, it's going to solve for these different constraints, basically, is what we're going to do. Okay, so for this first one, I'm on page 566, and don't forget to read the white pages. They give you all of the context, but it tells us that our set objective is going to be cell, so I'm going to backspace over that one. We want it to be cell D20. So here in the background, I'm going to scroll down and click on D20, and then it says to set it to the max, which we have done by changing two variable cells, D4 and D5. So by changing variable cells, then I'll select D4 and D5. Okay. Let's keep going on. Flipping over to page 567. So we're going to add, I think if I remember correctly, we add 3 constraints. Oh, no, actually maybe more than that. So I'm going to click the add box. And then our cell reference, our first one is going to be if D5, so I'm going to click on D5. If D5 is less than or equal to 4, that's going to be our first sort of constraint there. All right, let's add another one. I'm going to click add. The next one is if D4 is greater than or equal to, I lost my spot, 7. So I'm going to type that in there. Add another one. Next up, if D4 is less, oops, I got to click on D4. If D4 is less than or equal to 14. 14, there we go. Add a couple more here. If D4, we're going to say the constraint is an integer, int. All right, yep, good. Add, next up, D5 is an integer. Set that constraint, good. And then, ooh, that's our last one, fantastic. So now we get to go ahead and click OK, and I get to flip the page to 588. All right, so there are all of our constraints. So now at this stage of the game too, you want to stop and just double check that all of these are correct. I'll do mine in a minute. So if you see any typos, don't worry. I'll take a look at it in just a second. Now we're ready. And at this point for you, if you have not read pages 568, 569, 570, all of those white pages, you have to read all of that to understand why we use the solver and what's the context of how it works and when we run it and stuff like that. Okay, so for the final part of the work on page 571, we're going to run the answer report. So in the first half, we set up all of the parts of the solver. Now we're going to run an answer report. Okay, so down here, our first thing to do is to select the solving method. And again, in the book, they walk you through what are the different methods, why they work. We're going to leave it at the default. We're going to click Options. Oh, excuse me. Okay, and then under All Methods, we're going to make sure that it says Use Automatic Scaling. Under GRG Nonlinear, we're going to make sure it says Use Multi-Start. And then we're going to uncheck if needed Require bounds. Yep, so uncheck, that's unchecked. We're ready to go. I have to move this up a little bit. Is there any room? I need to click OK. I've run out of room on my window. Let me see if I can make this smaller. Nope, nope. All right, so you, on your window, get to click OK. It's way down at the bottom. I'm going to hit Enter on my keyboard because I can't see the OK. All right, now, also here in this little window, in the solver window at the bottom, can I scroll down? Oh, sure. Nope, that's going me there. So at the bottom of this, you're going to want to click the Solve button at the bottom of this window. So again, I'm going to hit Enter because I believe Solve is the default for that one. In the next window, the book tells us keep the solver solution. Good, so that's selected. That's what we want. And then under Reports, we have to select the answer report. We want to run an answer report. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. And where's answer report number 1? There it is. Here is our answer report. So it tells us then, in the context of our solver, it tells us so that we can confirm our original value of D20. Remember, that's the cell that we selected. It tells us the variable cells, D4, D5, original value, remember then the final value, those were our constraints, and that we set the constraint to be an integer. So this is answer report number 1. Continue on to page, continue on with page 574, and you'll do another answer report. You'll set up more conditions in the solver window, and you'll run an entirely different answer report called answer report number 2. And I'll let you go ahead and do that one on your own. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time.